You love the idea of transitioning to a 4-day work week. After all, who doesn't want a long weekend every weekend? But now you're wondering how to actually do a 4-day work week as a solopreneur. Let's talk about that in this video. Today, we are going to explore the benefits of a 4-day work week, plus what home business time freedom is and is not. We are going to talk about the 3 key questions to ask yourself for how to successfully do a 4-day work week, plus what makes these questions so powerful. Then we'll get into some examples of what you will need to do in order to enjoy a 4-day work week as a solopreneur, including a common mistake that home-based business owners tend to make about doing this. And we will wrap up with your next step for how to make a 4-day work week your new reality. But first, who am I to speak on this topic? Hi, I'm Sagan, a life coach and solopreneur productivity coach. I help you create customized anti-hustle productivity strategies for your solopreneur business while making sure that you are experiencing personal fulfillment in your life. We do a lot of strategic action plans, implementing new habits, mindset shifts to improve your work-life balance. We increase your creative bandwidth and free up more time in your day. And we set you up to achieve your goals faster and more enjoyably. Many of the solopreneurs that I work with deeply desire having a 4-day work week, but they feel uncomfortable doing it on their own. Or they might be skeptical of how good of progress they can make in their business when they're working a shorter work week. This is where I come in to help them create that ideal schedule without sacrificing their progress. I've been a solo business owner since around 2010, and I have personally had a wide range of different work schedules over that time. I have done a schedule where I worked 14 days in a row and then took 7 days off. I've had 4-day work weeks. I've done half days for 5 days each week, all kinds of different things. And for the past 6-7 years, I've also had success in my business while working less than 25 hours a week. You can learn more about that in my 17-hour workweek masterclass, which you can now get in the archives of the Solopreneur Diary Entries Premium Edition. I'll link that below for you. So what are the benefits of a 4-day workweek? There are many different benefits to it, but here are 5 of them. Number 1, a more spacious calendar. So you don't need to worry about every second of your life needing to be scheduled in. Number 2, increased capacity for critical thinking and creative problem solving. This is because you're taking a step back from your business and you're not in it every single day. You can breathe. Number 3, more time freedom. You can finally escape the rat race of excessive and unnecessary hustle. Number 4, opportunities to get errands and chores done before the weekend. And that way you can enjoy your weekend however you like, rather than being trapped doing a whole bunch of life admin tasks. And number 5, more time, energy, and space for your personal life, your family, even your hobbies. Remember those? The list goes on. But it's not so simple as just moving a few tasks around and shifting out of a 5-day work week. It's very important that you do your 4-day work week the right way. Many home-based business owners assume that they will magically have time freedom when they start their businesses, but here's the truth. What ends up happening is years go by and they still find themselves trapped in that 9-to-5 schedule, even though it's a schedule of their own making. Home-based business owners technically should be able to create their own schedule and set their own hours. Yet somehow, the vast majority of them are unable to take personal appointments in the middle of the day or make spontaneous changes to their plans. They haven't actually created a schedule that makes sense for their unique lifestyle, their goals, their personality, their brain, their hobbies, their family, etc. Does that sound like you? That is not home-based business owner time freedom. Here's what home business time freedom is. The freedom to use your time however you want, including allowing for those spontaneous changes or unplanned opportunities. It's about not feeling guilty about taking time away from your business. Home business time freedom is when your business is actually able to sustain itself without you constantly in it 24/7. Your business should not break when you take a break. Here's what home business time freedom is not: constantly putting your work before your life. In that case, you are living to work, not working to live. Saying, I wish I could do that, but I can't, to the types of things that would actually fill your cup. Home business time freedom is also not about neglecting your business in order to constantly prioritize your life. There is a balance here. There is nothing wrong with a traditional 9-to-5 schedule or working 5 days a week if that is what works for you, if that is what you actually want. But in my experience, working 5 days in a row from 9 till 5, with only 2 days of a break in between, is not the ideal schedule for the vast majority of people. This gives us a wonderful opportunity to challenge the assumptions that we are making, of all kinds, and explore all of the possibilities that might be available to us. With that in mind, here are 3 questions to ask yourself for getting started with that 4-day work week as a solopreneur. Question 1, why do you work the schedule that you do? Ask this question without judgment. What went into your decisions around this schedule? Was there any intentionality to it? Question 2, is this your ideal version of a schedule? And here I would recommend removing your current reality from the equation. For example, if you have specific obligations that are cutting into your ideal schedule, what would that ideal version look like if you didn't need to worry or think about XYZ? Question 3, even if you feel like you are unable to experience your ideal schedule right now, what are all of your options for getting closer to it? This is where you are grounding your ideal schedule into your current reality. I encourage everyone to ask these questions on a regular basis, maybe even a couple times a year. And I routinely do this for my own schedule because seasons of life change, seasons of business change, and it's important that we are able to adapt accordingly. What makes these questions so powerful? Let's break them down. Question number 1 can feel a bit jarring. It can be surprising and uncomfortable to confront that reality when you realize that you are making choices just because that's what everyone does, or because that's what used to work for you, even if it no longer entirely makes sense. This can pave the way for you to think outside the box. A great example that I love is one of my clients, who is a freelance editor, takes Wednesdays off. It's such an innovative approach to take the middle of the week off, and it works beautifully for her. Most people think of a 4-day work week as probably like a Monday to Thursday and then taking Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. But instead, she works 2 days, Monday, Tuesday, then takes a day off, Wednesday, works another 2 days, Thursday, Friday, and then takes 2 days off, Saturday, Sunday. You can see here that she really thought outside the box. She was really thinking about what makes the most sense for her. And this is something that came out of our coaching sessions. You don't need to do a regular sort of 4-day work week if that's not quite the right fit for you. You can experiment, you can play with this. You can take random Wednesdays off work. Now, question number 2 can be sticky when you are too focused on your current reality. But unless you allow yourself to take a step back, to imagine that dream version of your schedule and your life, you won't have the space to pull at least a little bit of it into your current reality. This is something else that we can do in coaching sessions at saganmorrow.com/coaching. Link is below. Question number 3 can be challenging when you are uncomfortable about making things easier on yourself. That's very common. Our society pedestals and rewards martyrdom and unnecessary self-sacrifice. But sometimes you can bring that tiniest piece of your ideal schedule into your current reality. And that then paves the way for you to make more and more and more changes over time. For example, your answer to question number 3 might look something like this. Your ideal schedule is a 4-day work week. Your current reality is 5-day work weeks, often with evenings and weekends thrown into the mix. A small shift for you could look like something like this. Start by giving yourself a 2.5-day weekend every month. For example, the last Friday afternoon of the month, you take off work. Once that feels comfortable for you, or it's a little bit more normalized, then you could turn that into a full day. So then you start taking the entire last Friday of the month off work, and you have that 3-day weekend, and you can do that for a while. And then perhaps you could start doing every other Friday you take off work. So then you're doing 2 3-day weekends each month. And then maybe you start putting boundaries in place where you don't do any work in the evenings, etc. You can see here that starting on a smaller scale makes it that much easier over time to begin making that change toward your ideal schedule. Now, there is a little bit more involved with this than simply deciding, I'm going to make this change and then everything will magically fall into place with my new 4-day work week. So let's talk about that. There is a whole lot that needs to go into doing a 4-day work week. You need to understand the root reasons for why you want this versus that. That way, you'll be able to work toward the right for you goals. You need to get your mindset in a good place for this, so you don't feel guilt or shame or stress about it. You need to create an actionable strategy plan for preparing for it. That way, your business will be able to handle this change without being negatively affected by it. You need to sort out the logistics for what makes the most sense, especially given your unique lifestyle, obligations, etc. You need to take into account your personality, your unique productivity style, and how your brain works so that everything is fully customized to your unique needs and feels awesome for you. You need to set in place audits and assessments as you make small shifts so that you're really checking in with yourself for how it all feels and making little adjustments as needed. Those are just a few examples of what you need to take into consideration for how to do a 4-day work week. There is an art to this. And it starts with asking those 3 questions that I posed to you earlier. Reflect on them today and see what comes up for you. And by the way, challenging assumptions, exploring new options, and integrating your ideal version into your current reality is all the type of thing that we do inside the Productivity Powerhouse e-course. You can get more details on that and enroll at saganmorrow.com/powerhouse. Link is below. This brings us to the number 1 common mistake that I see people making when they are trying to switch to that 4-day work week as a solopreneur. The mistake is this: cramming in the exact same tasks and the same amount of work into 4 days as you currently do in 5 days. In other words, the common mistake that people make is simply working a lot longer days on those 4 days a week, in which case you're still working the same number of hours each week. For example, if you currently have a 40-hour work week and you're working 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, then in this case, you are making a big mistake if you work the same 40 hours, but in 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. Here are a few reasons why this is a mistake. First, you aren't actually improving your time management at all. You're just adjusting your schedule slightly. Second, this won't necessarily increase your energy. This means that it might decrease your quality of work, or you might just be so exhausted that by the time the day ends, you won't be able to actually use your free time the way that you want. Third, you won't be making any real change to improve your efficiency, your productivity, or your task and project management. So if you are the type of person who struggles with boundaries, deadlines, feelings of overwhelm, procrastination, overworking yourself, this won't fix any of that. In other words, the whole reason for why you want a 4-day work week as a home-based business owner will not be what you get, unless you are strategic, mindful, and intentional with how you approach your work and your schedule. And the good news is that Productivity Powerhouse does help you overcome that really key common mistake. Here's what you learn in Productivity Powerhouse: how to save 5 to 10 hours a week every single week so that you can enjoy true time freedom, energy management techniques so that you can enjoy your newfound time freedom to the fullest, and avoid toxic hustle culture, how to design the perfect for you schedule and calendar system for your solopreneur business and your lifestyle, project management and task management skills, how to navigate procrastination, overwhelm, perfectionism, and tricky deadlines, best practices for communication and boundaries, how to plan ahead so that you can take sabbaticals for passion projects or spontaneous days off work, burnout management and prevention, and really everything that you need to know in order to effectively and confidently switch to a 4-day work week that you love. Join Productivity Powerhouse at saganmorrow.com/powerhouse. Now, maybe you're thinking, but I don't have time. I'm too busy to add this program to my plate. Productivity Powerhouse is specifically designed to free up your time and to get you faster results. It's totally doable for you to start now, even if you already have a lot of things on your plate. You can even get results by simply doing the first lesson of the program. I know how busy you are. I know how hectic your life and your business are. I know how stressed out you are. And I created Productivity Powerhouse exactly for you. I know that you might be thinking right now, I just need another week, another month, another year, and then I'll be ready. And in that case, I want you to know that Productivity Powerhouse is still designed for you. It is designed for you if you feel like you have so much on your plate, or if you think to yourself, after next week, things will be less busy. The timing isn't quite right now, but soon the timing will be right. If that's what you're thinking, you do need Productivity Powerhouse now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. Now. You need it now because it is designed for you to get your time back. It is designed for you to attain home business owner time freedom. It is designed to help you so that you don't need to keep on saying, next week, next week, next week. All those weeks and months turn into years, don't they? Productivity Powerhouse gives you back your time and your energy. Your business and your life don't need to feel like such a challenge anymore. You are ready to make your dream schedule happen. Let's do it together inside Productivity Powerhouse. Visit saganmorrow.com/powerhouse. Link is below, and I will see you on the inside.